Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Fox News article. Marjorie Taylor Greene introduces articles of impeachment against Federal Bureau of Investigation Director Christopher Wray. Representative Greene filed articles of impeachment against U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland after the Bureau raid former President Trump's home in August of 2022. Greene on Tuesday introduced articles of impeachment against Director Christopher Wray. In the articles of impeachment obtained by Fox News Digital, Greene claims that under Wray's watch, he has facilitated, quote, the development of a federal police to force, intimidate, harass, and entrap American citizens that are deemed enemies of the Biden regime. And she goes on to list a whole bunch of examples. Here's the issue. There are three things here, 3 or 4 things that you should remember. Number one, when people say, well, nothing's ever going to happen, this is happening, ladies and gentlemen. You might say, well, Christopher Wray's not going to be impeached. Probably, well, that is very possible that he does get impeached. We know that it's possible. It's not likely. It could be. There needs to be more investigation, or maybe a bit more investigation into Hunter Biden. If the Federal Bureau of Investigation continues to stonewall any information regarding the numerous felonies that Joe and Hunter have committed, so we know that impeachment of Biden is around the corner. There's a reason that Trump backed Kevin McCarthy. It wasn't because he likes Kevin McCarthy as a human being. It was because there was an agreement on impeachment of Biden. Okay? Hunter and Joe and that laptop, there's a litany of felonies listed within the laptop according to the New York Post reporting. Okay? When people say, oh, well, this type of information is polarizing, or your viewpoints are polarizing, the laptop doesn't lie. The money flow doesn't lie. I mean, there's nothing polarizing about that. It is what it is. If the reverse were true, Trump would have already been sent to prison. So they're desperately trying to go after Trump, accusing him of everything under the sun, because they actually have felonies linked to Joe, Hunter, and other Democrats. The Bureau, according to a great many people, Tom Fitton, many others, has served as has protected Biden. Okay, you could see through the Twitter files that you had a Bureau department working with Twitter employees to silence the New York Post reporting on the actual felonies, the stories that broke regarding the felonies within that laptop. There are specific emails linked to money flow. These are felonies. These are crimes. Everybody knows it. Same thing with James Comey and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. It is impossible, and the Honorable Director Wray and the Honorable James Comey know this. It is impossible to store secret servers and siphon classified data from secure government networks. It is impossible to do what Clinton did from a cybersecurity perspective, and it is a crime to do. So James Comey was fired from the Bureau, and then they got their revenge with the Mueller probe and endless media coverage. But see, again, these agencies, these intelligence agencies, have nothing to do with American domestic politics. What happened was the Honorable James Comey did not indict Clinton, did not push to indict Clinton, thus influencing 2016. Then he wrote the Comey letter, thus influencing 2016. It's impossible to have servers siphoning classified data and have that legal. It is an illegal act. It is a criminal act to have servers as a top official within the U.S. government, the highest diplomat, the Secretary of State. So that's an example. They never asked why Clinton had those servers. And if anyone else had those servers, they would have already been in prison. Trump would have already been in prison. So they would have said that Trump was selling secrets through his private servers. They wouldn't dare say that about Hillary Clinton. I think she'll be the 24 nominee. I really do. I can't imagine they go with mashed potato brains, with a litany of felonies and having been impeached. So the Bureau went to bat. You have numerous agents saying we'll stop Trump, and the Durham probe showed this. Okay, the Durham probe came to the conclusion that Trump should never have been investigated and that Clinton was looked at differently. They didn't even want to investigate Clinton. They wanted one political side to win. Everyone knows this. Everyone knows this. People who look at this and say, "Oh, that's not true. These people are upstanding individuals with a moral compass that has never been seen before." No. If the Bureau did for Trump what they did for Clinton, Democrats would want to dissolve it. So then you have Christopher Wray, who maybe not as overt as James Comey, but the Bureau has just been an extension in many ways of the Democratic Party and Biden's Justice Department, Merrick Garland's Justice Department. So you look, everyone on the planet knows that Hunter and Joe were committing felonies in terms of possible graft, bribery, kickbacks, altering U.S. foreign policy to enrich themselves. That's kind of what they accused Trump of, being a puppet of another country. But apparently when you have actual proof that Biden did that, and you do have proof, you have the money flow and you have the emails. When people say, "Oh, there's no proof of anything, you can't prove anything," you have the emails already. Just like when Debbie Wasserman Schultz was forced to resign. You have those emails, the DNC emails. That's why she resigned. That's why Twitter, along with the Bureau, suspended and censored the New York Post. That's why these things take place, because they're detrimental to the Democratic Party. That's why when you have all of media, Washington Post, MSNBC, CNN, New York Times, Atlantic, Mother Jones, Nation, well, those are used to be actual left-leaning publications. But anyway, Atlantic, New Yorker, New York Magazine, Rolling Stone, Vanity Fair, Esquire, New Yorker, I said the Atlantic, I said MSNBC, CNN, Times, Washington Post. It's Jimmy Kimmel, Saturday Night Live, all of Hollywood, Twitter algorithms prior to Elon Musk. I mean, you have a public relations monstrosity. And so when Marjorie Taylor Greene introduces articles of impeachment, you might not get the impeachment immediately, but that's just a precursor to Biden's impeachment. So everybody knows that the Bureau is going to bat for Biden. The Bureau went after Trump. It's complete. That's why when they say, well, Trump didn't drain the swamp, like, well, what is he supposed to do? He fired Comey, and then the entire American political establishment came after him with the most, with such retribution and force and, endless investigations. And so he was on his way. The main thing that Trump did, what he should have done is back Michael Flynn. Had he backed Michael Flynn, he wouldn't have had the Mueller probe. He would have called their bluff. But you have Comey, McCabe, Strzok, you have Kleinsmith, who pled guilty to falsifying records to deceive a FISA judge. You have like 7 or 8 other unnamed agents, all texting, Lisa Page, all the texting that they despise Trump. I mean, it's all within the Horowitz report. It's all within the Durham probe. And people say, well, nothing's ever going to happen. This impeachment, articles of impeachment, is happening. He might not get impeached tomorrow, Christopher Wray. He's not as overt in terms of backing the Democratic Party as the Honorable James Comey, but the Honorable Christopher Wray has positioned the Federal Bureau of Investigation as a strategic ally of the Democratic Party. That's pretty obvious, okay? Anything that is a story leading to felonies that Joe and Hunter could be convicted on is ignored. The laptop, for example. I don't believe he even answered the question of whether or not they have allowed. No, it was one agent, whether or not they had the laptop, okay? I mean, this is a laptop, like, listing felonies, according to the New York Post, Daily Mail, all the reporting, where there's suspicious activity reports and hundreds of millions of dollars where money is flowing through basically phony corporations, LLCs that are just made up for influence. One email is, how can you use your influence on the company's behalf? So That's a pretty good thing when Marjorie Taylor Greene begins the eventual impeachment of Biden, which will happen before 24. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe.